All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the heart of a 600-year-old puzzle, one that's literally carved in stone, the Duomo di Milano.
I mean, for more than 600 years, this absolute behemoth has just dominated the skyline of Milan. It's this incredible symbol of faith, of ambition, and it's so complex, so unbelievably intricate that they didn't officially call it finished until the 1900s. Think about that. But here's the thing. To really get what makes this place so special, you can't just stand in front and admire the view. Nope. We're going to have to go on a journey, starting from the very bottom, deep underground, and work our way all the way up to the golden statue that sits on its highest point. Okay, so let's get started. Our journey, kind of counterintuitively, doesn't begin by looking up at those incredible spires. It starts by digging down, deep into the layers of history that are literally buried right under the marble floor. You know, the writer Mark Twain visited back in the 1860s, and he was just blown away by it. You can feel his awe in that quote. But what's fascinating is that even as he was admiring this poem wrought in marble, he probably had no idea there were even older verses, an entire history, hidden right under his feet. So that begs the question, right? They started building this thing in 1386. What was on this exact spot before then? Well, long before the first stone of the Duomo was laid, this was the sacred center of a totally different and incredibly powerful city. And check this out. This floor plan shows you the ghostly footprints of what was there. You're looking at the foundations of two earlier churches, the Basilica of Santa Tecla and Santa Maria Maggiore. They were basically swallowed up piece by piece as the new, grander cathedral rose up around them. And we're not just talking about any old churches. This ground is, well, it's a huge deal. A major event in Christian history happened right here, way back when Milan was the capital of the Western Roman Empire. So this land, it's just soaked in history, from the fall of Rome all the way to the Renaissance. All right, let's come up from those ancient foundations and into the main part of the cathedral. Because this is where things get really interesting from an engineering standpoint. This building, it basically breaks all the rules of Gothic architecture. Okay, so when you picture a classic Gothic cathedral, right, like Notre Dame in Paris, you immediately think of those huge arching supports on the outside, the flying buttresses. Well, Milan's Duomo decided to do things differently. Its main support system is almost totally hidden from view, tucked away inside the walls. And this drawing from 1808 proves it. It's kind of wild, actually. Look closely. Most of those famous flying buttresses that you see today, they're just not there. Turns out they were added way later, mostly just for looks, not because the building needed them. The cathedral was already standing up perfectly fine on its own hidden skeleton. But this unique internal design created a terrifying problem. Right in the center of the building, you see these four central pillars here? They were supposed to hold up the entire weight of the massive dome and the main spire. And yet, they were built only a little bit bigger than all the other pillars. You can just imagine the panic, right? This was the question that must have kept the builders up at night back in the 15th century. As they got higher and higher, the realization must have hit them. We have a massive, potentially catastrophic problem on our hands. This whole thing could come crashing down. But the solution they came up with was just a stroke of pure genius. An engineer named Guinefort Solare designed these four gigantic semicircular arches that are completely hidden from view. They sit right on top of the pointing arches you can see from the ground floor. These hidden arches basically act like secret giants, taking all that immense weight and spreading it out. It totally saved the project. Although, the pressure was so intense it actually made the pillars move and snapped their original iron support rods. Crazy. So, with the structure safe and sound, miraculously so, we can finally dive into the real soul of the cathedral. And that's found not just in the engineering, but in its absolutely breathtaking art. You have to remember, this was a time when most people couldn't read, so these massive, incredible stained glass windows, they were like the original graphic novels. They were literally called the Bible for the poor, telling these epic, sweeping stories from the scriptures using nothing but light and color. A totally revolutionary way to communicate. But then, if you leave all that light and color behind and head down into the crypt, the story gets a lot darker. This is where you'll find the preserved body of St. Charles Borromeo, an archbishop from the 1500s. And yeah, Mark Twain, he did not mince words. He found it pretty gruesome, but also, a powerful reminder about what happens to earthly riches in the end.
Okay, from the darkness of the crypt, let's head all the way up into the light. We're going to the Duomo's most famous, most stunning feature, the roof. Seriously, stepping out onto this roof is like entering a whole other world. You're immediately surrounded by this incredible stone forest. And get this, there are over 3,400 statues up there, all looking out over the city. And then you've got 135 spires just piercing the sky all around you. And to top it off, 150 gargoyles standing guard. It's completely surreal. There's really nothing else like it. What's so cool about this is that it really shows you that the cathedral is like a living thing. It's always been evolving. I mean, look at these two images side by side. The final facade, a lot of the spires we think of as essential, they're actually pretty new, finished in the last couple hundred years of its 600-year story. And now we've reached the top. The final stop on our journey is the highest point of the whole cathedral, with the one statue that really is the heart and soul of Milan. So they placed this statue, the Madonnina, or Little Madonna, on the main spire way back in 1774. And making it was just an amazing achievement. It took this whole team of 18th century master craftsmen. You had sculptors, blacksmiths, goldsmiths, all working together to create this incredible symbol for the city. And believe me, she is so much more than just a statue. She's over 4 meters tall, and during World War II, they actually covered her in cloth for 5 years so she wouldn't be a target for bombers. She's really seen as a protector of the city, watching over Milan through war, peace, and everything in between. So after all this, you have to wonder, this 600-year-old poem in marble is constantly being worked on, constantly being restored. Who pays for all that? And the amazing answer is pretty much everyone. The preservation work is funded almost entirely by donations from the public and private citizens, which is a beautiful reminder, right? The story of this cathedral is still being written every single day